My name is Robert Kielb. I'm an emeritus professor at Duke University in the USA. It is my honor and pleasure to present this laudatory speech about Professor Fransson being awarded the IGIP award and receiving the Nicola Tesla chain. For over 45 years, I have been fortunate to observe his passion for and accomplishments in turbomachinery, aeroelasticity, and engineering pedagogy. Before addressing his accomplishments in pedagogy, I will briefly describe his contributions to turbomachinery. This area of research is key to the successful operation of aircraft gas turbines and power turbines. Torsten began his career as a PhD student at École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne, known as EPFL. He was part of a team that created a unique annular cascade test facility, which is still in operation today in DLR Göttingen. It generated a significant amount of unsteady aerodynamic data for turbomachinery research. In 1976, researchers worldwide in this area formed a symposium called the International Symposium on Unsteady Aerodynamics, Aeroacoustics, and Aeroelasticity of Turbomachines, also known as IGIP. To this day, it is still the premier meeting of specialists in unsteady aerodynamics, aeroacoustics, and aeroelasticity. The symposium is repeated every 3 years. Torsten was instrumental in the development of this symposium and became known as the father of IGIP. In 1991, he moved to Kungl. Tekniska Högskolan, also known as KTH, to head the Division of Heat and Power Technology and later the Department of Energy Technology. With his team of researchers, they continued development of advanced experimental rigs and computational studies that led to over 300 papers, including several paper awards. Several collaborators with other universities and turbine companies were initiated and led by Torsten. Among these are European research projects like AdTurb and Future. He also initiated several Erasmus Mundus joint degree programs. Among these is a cooperative master's degree program in the aeromechanical area called Thrust. It consisted of 5 universities. This program became very successful and graduated many students that were hired by turbine companies. Torsten also served for 8 years as a member of the International Gas Turbine Institute, a division of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Professor Fransson's interest in engineering pedagogy began when he moved to KTH. In the last 20 years, he has contributed in at least 5 ways. Number 1, together with his students at KTH, he created a computerized education in heat and power technology platform. This was well before the internet era, and the program was used on CD-ROMs at several universities and companies globally. Number 2, he initialized the first online Master of Science program with emphasis on students at Sri Lanka and Mauritius. He graduated more than 130 students in these 2 countries. Several of these students have since progressed towards becoming teachers at their home universities, and several have successfully finished their PhDs in other countries. Number 3, he developed pedagogical education programs worldwide, like the above-mentioned Thrust, Joint Master, the Selected Joint Master, and the Select Plus joint PhD programs within Europe. As part of his most recent educational support, 3 new Master Science programs were developed in Sri Lanka and Bolivia. In addition, 2 Certificado programs were developed in Brazil, and a Diplomado program was developed in Bolivia. Number 4, he promoted the use of modern pedagogy in student-centered education in the flipped classroom. Torsten was instrumental in writing the educational part of the application to the EU that later resulted in the Europe-wide Europe Institute of Innovation and Technology, INERGY, for the multi-billion euro environment. He thereafter served as the first educational director, as was involved, together with other EIT persons, in developing the EIT Label Handbook for Higher Education. Number 5, he developed practice-oriented curricula that corresponded to the needs of students and employers. The Explore Energy Digital Academy platform was developed. It is built upon small targeted learning resources. It's also toward learners in industry. In fact, prospective learners can themselves create their own playlist of courses and progress through their own learning journey at their own pace. They accumulate credits that can then provide increased competences in the specific field to their employers. Torsten has encouraged me to use modern pedagogical methods, and I believe that the learners are comprehending the subject matter much better. As an example, at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, I was teaching a virtual class with students in Sweden and the USA. I called Torsten to get some suggestions on how to teach this class. One of the things he suggested was that I give students 15 open-ended questions a few days before the live session, then tell them that they would be asked one of the questions in the live session without telling them which question. My first thought was that students would not be happy about this, but the result was just the opposite. I could ask student A a question and they would answer. Then student B would comment. The result was a group discussion about this question. The students looked forward to the next question. In addition to the IGIP award, Torsten has received other prestigious awards, including the Chevalier L'Ordre National de Mérite, being inducted into the Swedish Royal Engineering Academy, being named a Fellow of the Mechanical Society of Mechanical Engineers, and receiving the ASME Dedicated Service Award. In conclusion, Professor Torsten Fransson has contributed greatly to the area of engineering pedagogy. This IGPI award is well deserved. Thank you.